Hello, everyone, and welcome to Good Books with Katherine Gale Turner. I'm so excited to have you today to join me for yet another exciting and informational show. Today's topic is one that is really important to both individuals and small businesses, and that is the importance of life insurance. Let's talk about a real simple way to, first of all, talk about how you can determine how much life insurance you need. If you're an individual, I like to use a simple theory called the D.I.M.E theory. So let's just get a piece of paper, and vertically, I'd like for you to write the word dime vertically. I actually like to call it the final dime. So let's start with the D. The D stands for debt, and that's actually joint debt. So if something were to happen to you, would there be someone that you had a joint debt with that would have to assume that liability if something happened to you? You wouldn't want to leave someone with the debt. So whatever that joint debt amount is, you want to write that to the right of the letter D. Secondly, we have the letter I, and that stands for income replacement. Who's depending on your income? So, for example, you want to take the amount of income that that person is depending on and determine, first of all, if you would want 100%, 50%, or 25% of that income replaced. You determine that factor. Then you want to next determine how long would you like that income to be replaced. An easy way is, if you are a family, think of the age of the youngest child. And at what period of time would it take for that child to become an adult? And I would say an adult that's not dependent upon someone. So generally around the age of, say, 23 to 25, perhaps that young person would be not only graduated from college, if that's the route they chose, but they would also perhaps have ample employment and be able to take care of themselves. So that's one way of determining the number of years that might be necessary for that income to be replaced. That's the I, and you're going to come up with that number. Again, your income, and you can determine that based upon your gross or your net, whichever you feel most comfortable with. I usually go with gross because it's a lot more conservative number. All right. Next is going to be the M in the acronym DIME, and that stands for mortgage replacement. All right. Is there a mortgage that, again, if something was to happen to you, that remaining person would no longer have a place to stay or have to move out with relatives? This happens more often than not. And so that mortgage replacement is also another important factor in determining the amount of insurance you need. That's the M. And then lastly, we have the E. That stands for education. Is there someone that you love that needs an education, or that you want to make sure that their education is paid for? Again, that one's going to be dependent upon how many years of that education do you want to fund. Is it 2 years? Is it 4 years? Think about now, is that going to be a community college or a 4-year university? All right, think about those factors when it comes to the education, and you would simply take the number of years you'd like to fund, multiply it by the estimated amount of cost for that particular college. And again, you can also factor in state versus out of state, private versus state colleges. All those things go into play. And last but not least, I did say it was the final dime. And we then want to be concerned about what amount would you like to allocate towards your final expenses. This may be determined upon if you're wanting to be cremated or if you're wanting to have a traditional burial. Lots of things to take into consideration. One more thing, and that is, what about charitable purposes or charitable things that you'd like to contribute to? All of us have something that we love or something that we stand for, and many times you can leave a charitable contribution in the form of a life insurance payout. Again, the DIME theory is so simple way to figure out how much life insurance you need. It's the final dime. D-I-M-E, final expenses and potential charities or legacy that you'd like to leave behind. Now, what type of insurance you need, whether that's term or permanent, is a whole nother discussion. Next month in September, it's actually Life Insurance Awareness Month. And I'll talk a little bit more about the importance of types of life insurance and how it's actually a good idea to have a mix of both. I hope you got something out of the show today. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Good Books with Catherine Gale Turner on the Capitol View WDCA. Thank you.